party non-stop like this, gonna.
Have you guys ever heard of hardstyle music? Apparently it's this, I think, Eastern European sound characterized by this hard gabber, distorted kick drum, big lead melodies, and tons of energy at almost 160 beats per minute. I've never tried a hardstyle track before, but you guys requested that I try it out, so today I'm going to challenge myself to write a hardstyle track. And I recently saw this crazy ad by the producer Teknoclash about his sample pack and tutorial around hard dance or hard style. I was super blown away by it. So I actually bought the pack so I can learn his styles and use some of his presets in this video. Now I'm totally new to hardstyle, so comment down below and let me know what other artists I should check out. By the way, my name is Stranger, and if you want to improve your music production and sound design, especially with dance music and drum and bass, then this channel is for you. Also, like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. And remember, I have a new Skillshare class on bass lines, and you can check it out in the link below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I'm providing additional exclusive content. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, to start, I found this vocal to use as the foundation of our track. And as I've mentioned in previous tracks, it's nice to have a vocal or a sample to use as foundation, because then you have a direction on where to build your track. So this vocal is from the Krista Young's vocal pack on Splice, and there's a lot of nice pop and EDM style phrases in there, and I'm just using this phrase.
If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar.
So the key of this vocal is at C minor. Now, I rarely write tracks that high, mainly because for bass music, it's not enough range to hit those super low sub-bass frequencies. But since we're working on another style of music, hardstyle, it isn't as dependent on those super low frequencies. We can work at C minor. As well, the vocal is at 128 beats per minute, but most hardstyle music is at a faster, high energy tempo, usually at 160 beats per minute. I've set it at 161 beats per minute, so I've sped it up and I added a bit of delay and reverb to the vocal, and this is what we have.
If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up. This love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire.
Alright, so now that we have the vocal set, we can layer some other harmonics to build our track. And I'm going to start with this cello sound from Roland Cloud's Xenology synth. Xenology is a Roland instrument that gives you access to almost virtually all of their sound library, which is on their cloud. So really cool instrument to use, and some awesome classic sounds that you can find on Roland Xenology. So I'm just using this cello melody. Again, we're in C minor, so make sure if you're at live 11, you can set your scale to C minor and hide all the unnecessary notes, and you can simply find a cool progression like this. And then I'm using Pigments 3, which came out recently. Shouts out to everyone at Arteria. And I'm playing this bell melody with it, with this sound. Again, since we have the C minor scale identified, it's easy to just put down a melody. I'm using this melody here, playing up the scale. By using the scale function, it's easy to find melodies like this. You can experiment and explore and just find some notes that work well together. And this is what I got. Let's hear it all together.
If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire.
All right, so sounding good so far. All right, now that we have a couple sounds to go with the vocal, those will later be used towards the intro. And now onto the awesome and fun part. So one of the main attractions of hardstyle music is this big synth lead. So we're going to be using a cool technique to build this lead. We're going to be using the vocal as a basis of the melody of our lead. And there's a cool trick in Live where you can convert audio into MIDI notes. Simply click on your audio clip and then hold Command or Control and then drag it down into a MIDI track, and then it's going to ask you to convert the audio to MIDI. Now there's 3 types of conversions. You can convert it to harmony. So if your audio material was playing chords like pads or pianos, then harmony would make sense because those are multiple notes layered together. Now, melodies are more monophonic, meaning one note at a time, such as a vocal melody. Then drums is self-explanatory, so choose melody. And then it's going to analyze the vocal sample and convert each note into a MIDI note. So here's our MIDI note here. So I'm going to be playing the vocal melody with this patch from Omnisphere. It's just a simple sawtooth lead. You don't have to use Omnisphere if you don't have it. Ableton probably has a bunch of stock instruments that are like it already, so it's all good. So here are the notes that were converted from the vocal. Now, since that we're converting notes from a human, some notes may be off the grid. Also, some notes may be sliding in between notes. So it may not be perfect, which is fine. But since we're playing a synth melody, we may want to fix some of the notes by moving them and changing notes up and down the scale. And since we have a Live 11, we can use the scale feature. Just choose C minor and then just hide all the unnecessary notes. And then you can simply move notes around. Well, first we're going to quantize. So that note probably doesn't belong, so we can move it. This one probably doesn't belong either. So there was probably a note missing here from that part, so it was probably... So there was probably a note here like this. And I think this one came sooner, so just move that. Right. So just so it doesn't get boring, I just fast-tracked a bit, and here's the final notes where I cleaned up the melody and removed any unnecessary notes. Alright, so that's the main melody. Now the trick with hardstyle to make it sound like a big lead is to stack it with more synths. So we're kind of building a wall of sound. So I have this lead sound from the producer Teknoclash. It comes from his 7, 8, 9, 10 producer pack, which also comes with a tutorial. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. I simply saw an ad by them and I was so impressed. I actually bought the pack and the tutorial because I was really interested in seeing Teknoclash's personal technique in writing hardstyle, and it came with these sounds, which are pretty awesome. So simply just drag that lead melody into the patch. So here's the melody. And here's it layered. Now we're gonna keep stacking more sounds on top. I just duplicated that main Teknoclash lead and gonna play it 2 octaves up, so drag it down. And simply just move these up there. So this is what we have. Here's layered. Alright, and I felt that I needed just one more layer to thicken it up. So there is this other preset from the Teknoclash pack. It's another saw lead. It's a thinner sounding one. Again, just take that melody, bring it down to duplicate it. And then let's hear it together. All right, sounding good. Now, I've grouped the 4 sounds together, and then I added a bit of EQing to remove some of the bottoms. And then I added a glue compressor to compress the sound a little. And then I added a bit of Saturn for saturation. Now this is the chain that Teknoclash uses as well, so shouts out to Teknoclash for the little tip here. There's another glue compressor to glue it all together. And then there's a bit of EQ that removes some bottoms and some of the mud here. Overdrive for a little more beef. And one more step of EQing. So here's the before and after. Definitely sounds more full and alive. And then I just added some reverb to give it that big sound, and I'm using rev intensity. Hey, if you want to support me, you can grab a number of my products. I have a gnarly Serum preset pack with over 150 bass melting bass presets. As well, I have some Ableton project files to jumpstart your next idea. But if you're not ready yet, you can pick up my free Serum preset pack and my free sample pack. For more information, check the links down below. Alright, so now onto the main drop of the track. Now, Hardstyle is characterized by this really heavy kick, and it's almost the center point of the track other than the lead. There's this interesting tonality of the kick where it also plays the role of the bass, as well as having this really punchy attack on the kick. So I found this sample for a gabber kick on Splice. Now I can use this just as is, but because there's a bass that follows it and it may not be in the same key as my song, I'm just going to use this for the attack. So move the the sample end position. And then I'm just applying some EQing to the kick. I'm removing some of the bottom because we're going to be using a bass, so we don't need the bottom end. I'm adding a bit of transient shaping to make it a little more punchy. Alright, so that's the kick. And then I have this hardstyle bass patch. It's for free from the Fragment audio pack. I'll leave a link down below so you can grab it. They've designed this quite nicely, so it has that gated bass vibe. So it hits with a kick, there's a pause, and then there's a bass that follows. Like, that gives you that dun-dun feel. I just tweaked this preset a little to my liking, added a bit of drive. And then I'm just playing the same melody as that original cello melody I had at the intro, except that it's playing quarter notes here. And then layer this with the gabber kick, and we have this. So that's pretty characteristic of hardstyle to have that dun-dun-dun vibe with that hard kick. Now before the main drop, I wanted to create kind of a build up. So there's this kind of mid drop with a single note bass line. It's playing that galloping rhythm that I've shown you guys in previous videos. So it's one note here and then a double note and then you repeat. And then I layered this with a regular kick. So we have this. So this is going to be used to build into the main drop. Alright, onto the arrangement. So with the build up, we need a snare roll. So this is what I have here. I have a snare roll that builds, that gets faster as it progresses. And I also added a pitch bend to the end of the snare roll to create more of a build up. So that's the snare roll, and then it builds into this little vocal drop before we go into the drop.
Rock the party non-stop like this, gonna rock the party non-stop like this, gonna.
There's also a riser here. As well as some impact sounds and crashes to help the transitions. And then one of the tricks to create more impact on a drop is I've grouped all the main sounds together in this group. So all the kicks, the bass sounds, and the leads are grouped together. And then I can apply an auto filter. And I'm using a high pass to kind of filter it up as we approach the drop to remove some of the low end energy so that once we hit the drop, there's more impact. So let me play the entire section for you. Notice how the sound filters up as we move up towards the drop. That just creates more impact when we get into the drop. Alright, so that was the process on how I composed this track. Now here's the arrangement. I start with the vocal, with the intro sounds.
If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar.
And then I introduce the hardstyle lead.
If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar.
And then we build into that mid drop here. And then we go into the main drop. And then back into the vocal.
If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar.
So let's hear the full arrangement in effect.
If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh. If I say goodbye. make me a liar, make me a liar. If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire. If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar.
Rock the party non-stop like this, gonna rock the party non-stop like this, gonna
If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar.
All right, so that's the main track, and as you can see, once we have the vocal, it's easy to build the track and build layers on top. And one of the main tricks and lessons today is using the convert audio to MIDI, which allows for some awesome possibilities. And it's not limited to hardstyle. I would recommend you explore this technique with other styles of music. For example, you might have a piano loop or a flute, and you may want to convert that into MIDI notes and then play that with a gnarly bass preset, right? So you can do some crazy stuff with this technique. Also, remember, you can convert chords to harmonies, then you can find the chords for example, on a piano loop or something. So a lot of different and cool things you can do by converting audio to MIDI. Alright, so that was my first hardstyle track. What do you think and how did I do? What can I do to improve it? Remember the tricks I use here with composition, having a sample as foundation to build layers on top, as well as using the audio to MIDI trick to find new melodies. It's an awesome tool and I recommend you guys try it out even for bass lines and other lead sounds. I hope this was helpful. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep practicing. I'll see you in the next video.